Okay, so everyone's talking about AI,
Yeah,
and it can feel like it's coming for our jobs.
right.
But what if we could use that anxiety and turn it into action?
Okay.
That's what we're doing today. We're diving into a book.
Oh, cool.
It's called Irreplaceable.
Okay.
It's by Pascal Bornet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about thriving in this age of AI.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's trying to figure that out.
Exactly.
So what's the big takeaway?
Well, Bornet says we need to focus on our strengths,
Okay.
the things that make us uniquely human.
The things AI can't replicate.
Right. He calls it the humic's advantage.
I like that.
Me too.
But what does that actually mean, like, in real life?
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he breaks it down.
Oh, good.
He says it comes down to 3 core skills.
Okay, I'm listening.
The first one is genuine creativity.
Oh.
The second is critical thinking.
Hmm.
And the last one is social authenticity.
Okay, so these are things that AI, even though it's so advanced, still can't quite grasp.
Right.
So, like, while AI can write reports
Mm-hmm.
or analyze data really fast,
Super fast.
it can't brainstorm a new marketing campaign.
Yeah, or lead a team through a tough negotiation.
Exactly. Things that need intuition
Right.
and emotional intelligence.
Like that family in the book that missed their flight
Oh, yeah, I remember that story.
because the automated system wouldn't let them board them,
Even though they were just a few minutes late.
and the gate agent couldn't override the system.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Talk about a major AI fail.
Right, because it lacked that common sense.
Yeah,
A human would just let them on the plane,
exactly.
but the system couldn't make that judgment call.
It's a good reminder that we need a balance,
Yeah.
human judgment with technological efficiency.
Absolutely.
So how do we actually get better at these humics skills?
Well, for genuine creativity, Bornet says to embrace curiosity.
Like a kid.
Yeah, make time to play.
That sounds fun.
He says it's about tapping into that childlike wonder.
You know, I get so caught up in my to-do list
Mm,
that I forget to just let my mind wander.
it's so easy to do.
It is.
And for critical thinking,
Okay.
it's about questioning assumptions
Hmm.
and seeking out different perspectives.
Even if those perspectives make us uncomfortable,
Well, right, challenging our biases.
which is something we could all probably do better.
Yeah, definitely.
But what about social authenticity?
Okay.
How does that play out when so much of our communication is digital?
Well, it's about bringing your real self to every interaction,
Yeah.
whether it's in person or online.
So active listening, empathy,
Yeah, being willing to be vulnerable.
being real.
Building trust.
So less about crafting the perfect persona
Yeah,
and more about building genuine relationships.
I like that.
Me too.
But honestly, a lot of people are worried about AI taking their jobs.
Right, that's the big fear.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure that doesn't happen?
Okay, so we've got our humics foundation,
Yeah.
but now we need to figure out how to work with AI, not against it.
So instead of fearing the robot uprising,
Mm-hmm.
we need to use AI to our advantage.
Right.
So how do we do that?
Well, think of it like this.
Okay.
You're the conductor of an orchestra,
Right?
and AI is all of your instruments.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Each instrument has its own unique abilities,
Okay.
but it's your vision,
And my guidance.
right, that brings it all together to create something beautiful.
So AI is like a set of high-tech tools we can use to achieve more than we could alone.
But just like a conductor needs to understand how each instrument works, we need to develop some AI literacy.
So we don't have to be coding experts,
Right.
but we do need to understand the basics.
Yeah, so we can use it effectively.
Like how,
Well, maybe you could learn about different AI applications.
in my field.
Yeah, or experiment with AI-powered tools
Okay.
to see how they can streamline your workflow.
That makes sense.
But there are also ethical considerations.
Oh, right.
Like, how do we make sure we're using AI responsibly? Bornet talks a lot about transparency and fairness.
In AI development.
Right, we need to be aware of biases.
That can creep into algorithms.
Exactly.
So it's not just about using AI to get ahead,
Mm-hmm.
but using it in a way that benefits everyone.
And what about our kids?
Oh, yeah. How do we prepare them?
For a world where AI is even more prevalent,
It's not like we can shield them from technology.
no, it's more like those teachers who tried to ban calculators.
Back in the day.
Technology is here to stay.
So it's about teaching kids to use it wisely.
And ethically.
So how do we do that?
Well, we need to make sure they don't lose sight of their own human capabilities.
Well, it's humic skills.
Exactly. So encourage them to be creative.
To think critically.
Yeah, to ask questions.
And I have real conversations.
And remember, we need to model those behaviors ourselves.
Our kids are always watching.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's about individual growth.
Mm-hmm.
But Bornet also talks about creating an irreplaceable business.
Right. So how can businesses thrive?
in this AI-driven world.
Well, he talks about Netflix and Blockbuster.
Okay.
One company embraced change and innovation.
Mhm.
The other one clung to outdated models.
And ultimately failed to adapt.
It's a good lesson for any business.
So businesses need to be nimble and adaptable.
Yeah, just like individuals.
What are some concrete steps they can take?
Well, Bornet talks about fostering a culture of continuous learning
Okay.
and innovation and ethical AI practices.
Mhm. So that AI is used fairly,
Right, transparently and accountably.
creating a work environment that values both human and artificial intelligence.
Finding that sweet spot where human
With
creativity
ingenuity.
are amplified by the power of AI.
Okay, so this has been really interesting.
Yeah.
But what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, the biggest takeaway is that becoming irreplaceable is a journey.
So it's not about reaching some end goal.
Right, it's about continuous learning and growth.
That's a process.
And it requires us to embrace our human qualities.
While also using AI to our advantage. So it's not humans versus machines, but humans and machines working together.
To create something truly remarkable.
Exactly. And with that in mind, I have a question for our listeners.
Oh, good.
What one small step can you take today to start on your path to becoming irreplaceable?
I like that.
It's a great question.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
And it's not just about keeping our jobs,
It's about becoming better versions of ourselves.
right? Like reaching our full potential.
Exactly. And I like how Bornet emphasizes that it's not about becoming superhuman.
It's about those humic skills we talked about.
Exactly.
And those skills aren't static. They can be developed.
It's like learning a language or a musical instrument.
It takes practice and dedication. So we're not born with a set amount of creativity or critical thinking.
Right. We can get better at those things.
With effort.
And the book gives us a framework for doing just that.
Oh, that's great.
He calls it adopting an AI-ready mindset.
Okay, so being AI ready, what does that mean?
It means being open to new technologies and having that growth mindset.
Okay, but alongside that, he also talks about being human ready.
Oh, yes, that's important.
So what does that look like?
Well, it's about nurturing those human qualities that set us apart from AI.
Okay, so things like empathy, compassion.
Yeah, and the ability to connect with others.
Yeah, that human connection.
It's about that balance between technology and human connection.
Yeah, sometimes we get so caught up in the convenience of technology that we forget to just be present with each other.
That's where the social authenticity comes in.
Being genuine, being vulnerable.
And really listening.
So being more intentional with how we communicate. I
Yeah.
really love how this all ties together.
And the last piece is being change ready.
It's a constant, isn't it?
It is.
Especially these days.
And being change ready means being flexible,
Okay.
being able to navigate those disruptions.
That come with new technologies. So being comfortable with uncertainty.
Yeah, stepping outside of our comfort zones.
Embracing the unknown.
Seeing change as an opportunity.
Not a threat.
Exactly.
Like Maya in the book.
Yes, the software developer.
She realized that to stay ahead, she needed to constantly adapt.
To learn new skills.
To embrace challenges.
And that made her irreplaceable.
It's so inspiring
It is.
to see someone take charge of their career like that.
Yeah, and her story shows how to apply these principles
In real life.
in a tangible way.
Okay, so this all makes sense.
Yeah.
But for someone listening who's thinking, okay, I'm ready. How do I become irreplaceable? Where do they start?
Well, Bornet says it starts with self-reflection.
So looking at our strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, and thinking about where we want to grow.
Identifying those humic skills that need work
And thinking about how we can use technology,
to enhance our work.
not replace it.
And after that internal audit,
Then we focus on building those AI-ready competencies.
the human ready and the change ready.
Yes, putting those principles into practice.
And how do we actually do that?
Well, it could be setting aside time each week for learning,
Okay.
or maybe finding opportunities to collaborate.
Or trying out a new AI tool.
Starting small, but being consistent.
And as we get more comfortable,
Mhm.
then we can start thinking bigger.
Maybe taking on a more challenging project.
Yeah. Or starting a side hustle.
Something to push us out of our comfort zone.
But remembering that it's not about being perfect. It's about learning and growing.
It's a process, not an end goal.
And it requires commitment.
Yeah.
So this has been a really interesting conversation
It has.
about what it means to thrive in the age of AI.
But you know what strikes me?
What's that?
This isn't really about technology at all.
Oh, really? What do you mean?
I think it's about what it means to be human.
Okay.
It's about our creativity, our critical thinking.
Our need for connection.
So even with all this technology,
It's our human qualities that set us apart.
that's a powerful message.
It is. It's about embracing our humanity
Yes, not denying it.
and using technology to make us stronger. And I think that's something important to remember.
Yeah, it's like we have this chance to redefine what it means to be successful.
In a world that's constantly changing.
And it's not limited to just a few people.
No, anyone can do this.
Anyone who wants to become irreplaceable.
If you're willing to put in the
It's
work
not about your job title.
or your education,
It's about a way of thinking
a way of approaching life and work,
that prioritizes growth
adaptability,
and human connection
and recognizing that technology is a tool,
that we can use to shape the future.
for better or for worse.
It's up to us to decide.
I know it can feel overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, it really can.
There's just so much change happening.
It's hard to keep up,
It is.
but I think it's about finding what resonates with you,
Yeah, what you're passionate about.
that sparks your curiosity,
And focusing on that.
finding your own path.
And it's a process.
You're never really done. You're always learning and growing.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
It is.
It's the journey itself.
Yeah, not the destination.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave our listeners feeling hopeful.
Yeah, feeling empowered.
Because the future isn't set in stone.
We get to shape it.
With our choices,
Our actions.
our commitment to becoming better,
And by embracing those human strengths,
our creativity, our critical thinking, our connection,
we can create a future where humans and technology thrive together.
it's a future worth fighting for.
And it starts with that first step.
So one last time for our listeners, what one small step can you take today to start on your path to becoming irreplaceable?
We can't wait to see what you do.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Until next time, keep exploring,
Keep learning.
keep growing, and become the best version of yourself.